The story opens in a futuristic era. Nathaniel, the head of Genesis Corporation, delivers an inspiring address about humanity's next great step, building a colony on Mars. He explains that Earth's resources are dwindling, and survival demands a new frontier. Their spacecraft, Magellan 61, will transport 6 pioneers, not merely to explore, but to settle and become the first Martian residents. The audience erupts with applause as the astronauts, led by Sarah Elliott, step forward. They take questions about the long 4-year voyage. Sarah expresses their honor and enthusiasm, saying it feels like a destiny-defining mission. Soon after, the team launches into orbit, successfully connecting with their interplanetary vessel to begin the long journey. Months later, Sarah begins suffering from nausea and vomiting into a disposal bag. Concern spreads among the crew until it becomes clear she is pregnant. This shocking revelation alarms the mission board back on Earth. Leaders scramble for answers but find none that could guarantee the baby's safety. Anxiety grows about both the unborn child and the mission's future. Publicly, the company stays silent. Eventually, the ship lands on Martian soil. On the due date, Sarah gives birth to a baby boy, the first human ever born on Mars. She embraces him with joy, but moments later collapses and passes away. Nathaniel, watching the live feed from his vehicle, steps outside and breaks down as rescue attempts fail. In the aftermath, Nathaniel, Genesis director Tom, and a circle of specialists hold an emergency meeting. They conclude that the infant cannot endure Earth's gravity, his bones will remain fragile and his heart too enlarged. If word spreads, the company's reputation will collapse, leaving the boy trapped away from humanity. Nathaniel urges honesty, offering to go to Mars himself. The board resists, citing his recent diagnosis of hydrocephalus, a brain condition that makes space travel life-threatening. To protect the mission's image, they decide to conceal the child's existence. 16 years pass. The baby, Gardner, has grown into a bright, curious teenager, though his entire world has been limited to the Mars habitat and just 14 people. Seeking answers about his mother, he hacks into Centaur, a robot he designed, to access storage bays. Among Sarah's belongings, he discovers a wedding ring and a memory drive. On it is a video of Sarah with a man at a beach house. Believing this man to be his father, Gardner becomes determined to find him. Later, he secretly chats online with Tulsa, a sharp-witted girl from Colorado who bounces between foster homes. The two grow close, though Gardner claims he is confined to a luxury suite because of illness. Tulsa doubts him, but he insists he will meet her someday. Back on Earth, Tulsa rides her motorbike home and finds her foster father, Chuck, dozing on the couch. She wakes him when she remembers a sandstorm is approaching. Meanwhile, on Mars, Gardner manipulates the monitor in his chest to bypass security and sneaks out for a drive. He visits the empty memorial site for Sarah, speeds across the Martian surface, loses control, and crashes. His oxygen tube detaches, but Kendra rescues him in time. Afterward, Kendra scolds him, though Gardner insists she cannot truly grasp his longing. Later, she confides that his mother's remains are not buried there. Her ashes were scattered over the Pacific Ocean. Their bond strengthens again. Kendra then calls Nathaniel and Tom, urging them to consider Gardner's brilliance and humanity. She pleads for him to be allowed to visit Earth. Nathaniel resists, saying Gardner would need invasive procedures to strengthen his body and adapt to Earth's atmosphere. Despite the danger, Gardner chooses to undergo the surgery. After months of recovery and conditioning, Gardner is cleared to board a return shuttle to Earth alongside Kendra and a small crew. Excited, he sends a message to Tulsa saying he's finally coming to meet her in person. On the day of re-entry, Nathaniel discovers Gardner is on the passenger list. Furious at Tom for hiding the truth, he demands answers. But when Gardner is placed in quarantine at NASA for medical observation, Nathaniel visits him. During their talk, they share what they each love about their own worlds. Gardner speaks about Mars, Nathaniel about Earth. Later, Kendra visits, but Gardner overhears that more examinations are needed before he can be allowed freedom on Earth. Frustrated, he plans his own escape. Disguising himself with clothes stolen from a locker, he sneaks into the back of a delivery truck and slips away. For the first time, he tastes freedom, walking through crowded streets, marveling at the rain, narrowly dodging cars, and speaking with strangers. Every moment feels like a new chapter of life. On his journey, he befriends a man named Waldo, who swaps sunglasses with him and shows him where to catch a bus to Colorado. Gardner boards the bus, determined to find Tulsa. Meanwhile, Nathaniel and Kendra begin tracking him down. Their search reveals Tulsa's history, moving through several foster homes over the years. At the same time, Gardner arrives at Tulsa's school. Spotting her by her locker, he approaches, but Tulsa greets him with a slap, angry that he disappeared. Gardner insists he never abandoned her and that his travel was unlike anything she could imagine. Tulsa doubts him, saying even travelers can text. He explains that it took everything he had just to get there. Tulsa hurries to class, telling him to wait. Instead, Gardner follows her inside. The teacher assumes he is a new transfer and allows him to sit. When a question is asked, Gardner answers it flawlessly, impressing the class. Then, unexpectedly, he pulls the emergency wash lever, soaking himself and drawing laughter. After class, Tulsa demands to know the truth about his story. Gardner admits he's from Mars, but Tulsa laughs it off. To prove himself, he shows her a photo of Sarah with a man, explaining that this could be his father. He asks for her help to track him down. Moved by his sincerity, Tulsa agrees. She takes him on her motorcycle, and Gardner thrills at the speed and wind, savoring freedom for the first time. They reach her foster home, but Nathaniel and Kendra arrive soon after. They plead with Gardner to return, but he insists he must find his father, the only family he has left. Kendra tells him he has her, but Gardner reminds her she never wanted a child and apologizes for being a burden. Overcome with emotion, Gardner bolts toward the nearby fields with Nathaniel and Kendra chasing him. Suddenly, Tulsa appears piloting the old crop duster her foster father owns. Gardner leaps aboard, and together they lift into the sky. From above, Gardner gazes down at the earth beneath him, exhilarated, feeling more alive than ever before. Soon after, the old crop duster begins running low on fuel mid-air. Tulsa struggles to control it and manages a rough emergency landing, but the plane slams into a deserted barn and bursts into flames. From their helicopter, Nathaniel and Kendra witness the wreck and assume Gardner didn't make it, but Gardner and Tulsa crawl out alive and flee before rescue teams arrive. When the searchers find no bodies, they realize the two have escaped. Nathaniel, furious, lashes out at Kendra, blaming her for letting Gardner reach out to people on Earth while he was still on Mars. Kendra fires back, asking where Nathaniel had been all these years, then storms off. Meanwhile, Gardner and Tulsa steal a car to get away from the search. On the road, Tulsa quizzes Gardner about Nathaniel, Kendra, and East Texas. Annoyed when Gardner keeps claiming he's from Mars, she tells him to get out. Gardner quietly agrees, but Tulsa yells that she hates being lied to. Gardner explains he isn't lying. Just because others have betrayed her doesn't mean he will. He apologizes for the pain caused by the lies in her life. Softening, Tulsa lets him back in, and they continue driving. Later, the pair stop at a diner. Using a stranger's tablet, they investigate Gardner's past through the engraving on the ring he found. Their search points to a spiritual leader named Nika in Arizona, who had once officiated Gardner's parents' union. Just as they start connecting the dots, local police enter the diner. Fearing capture, Tulsa and Gardner slip out the back and vanish. Elsewhere, Nathaniel and Kendra track down teens who match Gardner's description but quickly realize they found the wrong people. Frustrated, Nathaniel starts to unravel emotionally. He admits to Kendra that he'd long ago given up hope because he had never even seen Gardner's face. Now that he has met the boy, guilt gnaws at him for leaving him to grow up isolated on Mars. He insists he has to set things right. At that moment, Kendra gets a call. Gardner's blood work shows dangerously high troponin levels. Nathaniel explains it signals heart strain. His enlarged heart can't cope with Earth's gravity. He insists Gardner must return to Mars immediately or he won't survive. Unaware of the danger, Gardner and Tulsa continue their road trip. They stop at a shop for new clothes. After changing, Gardner sees Tulsa playing on a keyboard while wearing a blue dress. When she notices him watching, he softly tells her she looks beautiful. They leave together, carrying sleeping bags for the journey. Meanwhile, authorities close in, using supermarket security footage that places them together in a parking lot. Out on the road, Tulsa lets Gardner take the wheel, coaching him on how to drive. He blurts out that she's beautiful, catching her off guard with his honesty. That night, they camp beneath the stars, where they share a kiss and grow closer. By morning, a follower of Nika finds them and guides them to him. Nika agrees to help. Suddenly, Gardner's nose starts bleeding heavily, and he collapses. Rushed into a hospital, he undergoes emergency treatment. Afterward, Tulsa admits she finally believes his story about being born on Mars, but she also tells him that she can't take him further. Foster care will soon intervene, and he's too weak to keep traveling. Gardner quietly confesses that he knows his time on Earth is short, and the only thing he wants is to meet his father before it ends. Moved by his plea, Tulsa helps him slip out. Together, they steal a car and head for the beach house. By the time the authorities arrive at the hospital, the two are long gone. When they reach the beach house, they find the man from the video. Gardner explains that he is Sarah's son and that she died giving birth to him. The man doubts the story, saying Sarah died in a suit malfunction accident years earlier. Gardner insists he's telling the truth, but the man grows defensive, threatening to call the police. Tulsa snatches the phone, confronting him, but the man finally reveals he can't be Gardner's father, he's Sarah's brother. Shocked, Tulsa turns to look for Gardner, only to discover he has wandered off. Frantically searching, Tulsa spots him down by the shoreline. Gardner tells her this is where he wants to rest and then collapses. Tulsa tries desperately to drag him closer to safety, but he's too weak. At that moment, Nathaniel and Kendra arrive, racing to his side. Nathaniel performs CPR, and Gardner gasps back to life. Barely able to speak, Gardner asks about his mother. Nathaniel, with tears in his eyes, says she was fearless, gentle, and the reason he had once lost all hope. He confesses his love for Sarah, and Gardner calls him father. This time, Nathaniel accepts the truth, admitting it openly. Soon after, help arrives, and Gardner is rushed aboard a NASA craft to escape Earth's crushing gravity. Nathaniel takes the controls and flies the ship upward into space. Tulsa clings to Gardner, waking him as he stirs. As they float weightless, he removes his harness, and Tulsa whispers that he must return to Mars. They share a kiss, declaring their love, before Nathaniel and Kendra look on quietly. Later, Gardner prepares to board the shuttle back to Mars. Tulsa meets him for an emotional goodbye. Staying on Earth, Kendra purchases a ranch home and invites Tulsa to live with her. Tulsa agrees, eventually joining Kendra's youth space training program. Meanwhile, on Mars, Nathaniel decides to remain with Gardner, helping him build a life among the growing colonies. Together, they finally find belonging, Gardner waiting patiently for the day Tulsa will join him. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to our channel, and let us know in the comments which movie you'd like us to cover next.